Hello and welcome to a humble Highland home. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I don't know about you, but I've been noticing a few telltale signs recently that has hinted at the gentle arrival of autumn and everything that it brings. And as autumn looms, it reminds me of the colder times ahead, the seasonal changes outside, and the evenings sat next to the cosy fire with a steaming hot chocolate. It also reminds me how time limited we are to do the things that we want or need to do before the weather turns. We have tried to remain focused on the areas that we wanted to finish before the end of the year, but we still need to keep the home fires burning or keep the house in order, which can help give peace of mind and preparedness for the months and sometimes the year ahead. Gradually, year on year, we're trying to use our log burner more in place of our central heating system in the house, and I sometimes use it for cooking. Adam has been working on a very bespoke log store and integrated shed, which is now well and truly taking shape at the working end of the front garden. This has been a long time in coming, but it will be worth it in the end. So for now, I've been refilling the log pile inside and also using the smaller store, which is at the edge of the door. I have noticed that the darker mornings and evenings are arriving earlier now, so we are more limited to what we can do outside after we finish our work, but at least the midges get less when it gets colder. I like to enjoy each season of the year as it happens, but I'm always planning ahead too. And I find this time of year as we go into autumn an incredibly busy time of year. And at the moment, my energies are focused upon increasing our food harvests and preserving all the food when it's ready to come in. I haven't been able to gather as many wild harvests recently due to time and weather restraints, but it all comes together in the end, and if we're fortunate enough to be able to gather some nature-based foods, all's the better. I have my staples and anything else is just a lovely bonus. The weather has been very changeable this year, and autumn time is proving to be no different. It's been chilly in the morning and becoming very hot in the daytime. This has been quite confusing to some plants, as our estimated first frost date for this area isn't until mid-October, but I'm not so sure of that this year. I think it might come a little bit earlier, so I'm just planning ahead. I've started making a few changes in the perennial garden in preparation for splitting one of the rhubarb crowns to regrow it at the other side of the green cone. This is one way of gaining free plants. It really is a team effort today. Adam's busy working on the log store and I'm in the kitchen garden pulling in the next harvest ready for preserving. And every day I try to add a little bit more to the compost pile so that next year we'll have even more compost to add back into our garden. The cauliflowers that I've just picked, I will cut them up into florets and then blanch them before adding them to the freezer. And the courgettes I will just use fresh this time. This will be the last cucumber off this plant, but we've got 2 more plants to keep us going for a little while yet. I've not been using the chard quick enough this year, so I'm picking some today to put in the dehydrator, and I chop it all up and make it into a green powder. I also use brassica leaves for this as well, as the green powder is packed full of nutrients. Although that this is a busy time of year, I still like to take that time to enjoy the garden, especially when everything is in full flower and full bloom. But there comes a time when everything starts to die back, and this is what's happening to the potatoes at the moment. These are my Maris Piper main crop potatoes. This was my first year in growing a pumpkin. It really was a little bit of an afterthought. I hadn't planned it in, but I was given some very good advice from a friend, and I tried, but it didn't really work quite as well for me. But I'll try again next year and maybe plan it in a little bit more. The cabbages are continuing to give us a good harvest, and I'm quite surprised because they are growing in the shade of the peas and beans, but I am grateful nonetheless. This was our third planting of salad leaves, and it will continue to give us some lettuce until the frosts arrive, and then the winter planting salads will take over. I only take the leaves that I need from the outside of the plant and leave the main plant to grow on, and this will extend the life of the plant and your produce. These are my last planting of potatoes. These are a variety called Sarpo Mira, and they are blight resistant, so I'm hoping that these will be my Christmas potatoes. I've started harvesting my green celery a little while ago, and I'm gradually bringing it in, chopping it up, and I put it into little balls and freeze it like that, and then put them in a bag ready for use in wintertime. The wheelbarrow quickly fills up once we start harvesting from all the areas of the garden. And in preparation for the times ahead, I have planted seeds that are suitable for colder growing conditions. And the idea is that we have a nice healthy plant that's not too small but not too big, that can withstand the colder climate in this area. These are the flowers that the carrots produce once they're going to seed. I think they're just absolutely beautiful. And hopefully the seeds will give us a few more carrots in the future. So that's today's wee harvest that's going to head off into the kitchen to be used or preserved before I start my next task. And just as important as harvesting the produce is to make sure that we're prepared for the times ahead by saving our seeds. When there's so much for me to do in the garden, I can find it difficult to sit and to save the seeds. However, it is so important. So I try to look upon this as a mindful task and sit to enjoy a cuppa at the same time. We're going to continue making progress today. So for now, take care of yourselves and others, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video.